Welcome back to Fast Money. We are following the latest on the coronavirus as cases continue to surge in a number of U.S. states. Let's get to Meg Terrell with the very latest. Meg.
Hey, Melissa. Well, cases in the United States are on the rise again to now almost 50,000 a day. On the 7-day average, hospitalizations have now started to tick up again. Deaths on the daily count are still declining, but of course they tend to lag hospitalizations by a week or two. Now look at where the most cases are being recorded. This is on a per capita basis, and the darker the shape there, the worse they are in terms of the number of new cases. You're seeing Wisconsin, North Dakota, and South Dakota on a per capita basis really hit the hardest. This is a map from Evercore ISI showing U.S. hotspots. Where are you seeing the fastest growth in cases over the past week? Really concentrated there in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, Melissa. And we are also, of course, seeing progress being made on the vaccine front. We are only a few weeks away, potentially, from seeing the first data. Pfizer has been guiding toward the end of October for potentially seeing its results, Moderna to November. And Melissa, we actually just got word from Pfizer that they're expanding their vaccine trials down to the age of 12. This is after they already expanded down to the age of 16. And as questions are being raised about when kids will get access to a vaccine as well. Melissa?
All right, Meg, thank you. Meg Terrell with the latest on the numbers here. The first COVID-19 vaccines to come to market will likely be designed to be injected in the arm. But researchers are already starting to look at the next generation of vaccines and study if inhalable treatments could offer better protection. Altimmune is a Maryland-based biotech company that plans to start testing its nasal vaccine on humans within the coming weeks. Joining us now is Altimmune CEO Vipin Garg. Vipin, great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you.
You actually released today a pre-published comprehensive preclinical evaluation of that nasal vaccine. What did you find? And some are saying that this was sort of widely anticipated. Does this put you more on track to file an IND with the FDA and to start the first phase of your trials in the fourth quarter?
Yes, thank you for the question. First of all, as you mentioned, most of the vaccines that are in development today are intramuscular injection, are given by a shot. And while these vaccines are looking very encouraging in terms of their ability to generate systemic immune response, neutralizing antibodies, none of these vaccines are designed to activate this special kind of immunity called mucosal immunity. So what we reported this morning from our preclinical work is that our vaccine candidate, given intranasally, a single-dose intranasal vaccine, was able to activate all three arms of the immune system. Not only it showed activation of neutralizing antibodies, it also showed T-cell immunity, and finally it showed what is known as local mucosal immunity in the nose. If you think about this particular virus, it attacks us through the nose. Mm-hmm. It multiplies in the nose, and it actually builds a reservoir in the nose before it attacks the rest of the body. So it makes sense that we should also attack the virus at the point of entry, and that's exactly what we are doing with our intranasal vaccine.
Right.
The idea is to in addition to having neutralizing antibodies and T-cell activation of T-cell immunity, we are also activating this third arm of the immune system called the local mucosal immunity in the nose. Mm-hmm. And we think it could be critical for preventing spread of the virus, further spread of the virus, because having this mucosal immunity can have the effect of blocking the transmission.
So this
None
data,
of the vaccines that are in development today are able to block transmission.
Just to be clear, the data that was pre-published today, this is data in mice. And so when do you anticipate, as you look at on the timeline and given the expeditious way in which the FDA is sort of green-lighting each phase and even doing phase 1 and 2 simultaneously, when would you anticipate doing a trial in humans?
Yeah, so we are ready. We are in the process of preparing our IND. We expect to file an IND within weeks and start our phase 1 clinical trial before the end of the year. We anticipate data in the first quarter, and if the data looks good, we will immediately move to phase 2 studies. So really by the second half of next year, we are preparing to produce large quantities, large amounts of the vaccine. So we can move very quickly at this point during the second half of next year, we could have a vaccine ready to go.
And how should we think about this nasal vaccine, Vipin? I mean, is it a replacement for the intramuscular ones that are being currently developed, or would it be used in conjunction?
So, we know very little about this virus at this point. Even though we've made a lot of progress, it is clear that we don't know anything about the durability of the immune response. We don't know what different types of immunities will be required. We don't know if just neutralizing See, most of the vaccines, they're really not designed to block transmission. They're designed to reduce the disease, to prevent the disease. By bringing this third element of the immune response, the nasal mucosal immunity, we think we can also block the transmission of the virus. So we are moving forward as a single dose intranasal vaccine because we are activating all three arms of the immune system. But there is a possibility that down the line, our vaccine can work with other vaccines. In other words, you could have a combination of two different types of vaccine, a intramuscular vaccine followed by an intranasal administration. So that possibility does exist, and we will explore that. The other thing I would point out is children, for instance. Children, we need to figure out how to vaccinate children also, because even though they don't get severe disease, they can be potential carriers of the virus and can spread the virus. So it's really important to have a mucosal intranasal vaccine, which children like to take intranasal, less invasive. But on top of that, having this benefit of mucosal immunity and the potential to prevent the transmission of the virus could be critical in pediatric vaccination.
Vipin, we hope you'll keep us posted on this. We appreciate your time. Vipin Garg, the CEO of Altimmune. And obviously, intranasal, it's easier to distribute in that you need fewer health professionals to do so. It is easier to take, as Vipin had mentioned, to give to demographics like children. Guy, it's interesting because as we've evolved in thinking about these treatments, at first we always thought that treatments would replace others. And so when you had positive news from one treatment, you would see another treatment stock go down. But now we're learning that even treatments and even potentially vaccines could be used in conjunction with each other. And so there may be room at the table for a lot of these stocks.
In concert with. So I'm somewhat reticent to talk about Altimmune only because of its market cap. And I think as we're talking here, the stock's probably up 9% in the after hours. But what I will say is, and we've done a decent job with this, if we look at the IBB, I think it closed around 144 today. And for the longest time in the spring over the summer, we said you traded against that 127 low that you saw back in June. And that exactly pretty much what happened. Traded down to 127, held and bounced. I think IBB takes out the all-time high of, I think, 147, and we're off to the races. In terms of individual stocks, we've talked about this for a while. I understand that Lilly's not a biotech name, but I think Lilly works here, and I do think Amgen continues to work here, Mel.
All right.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.